Hello again. We are back for part 3 of making head cheese, and I've got all of my components here. And of course, I waited until my parakeets were screaming at the top of their lungs to make this video. So that's what the background noise is. Anyway, so I've got. I'll link the other two parts, the other two videos, in the description of this one, where you can see the first part of the process, which was day 1, the second part of the process, which was day 2. That's just the way I do it. You don't have to do day 1, day 2. I mean, it doesn't take the whole day. It takes 45 minutes the first day, and then you boil it for a long time, and then it takes 45 minutes the next day. I just do it that way because that's just how I like to do it. You can do it in, a much more condensed period of time. But anyway, this is part 3, and so I left the broth outside in our garage for overnight to congeal, because this is the gelatin that you're going to use to bind everything together, so you can see it kind of wiggling. And so what I'm going to do is, in order to get I need this to be liquid so I can pour it over the molded head cheese meat mixture to make a loaf. And so let me fill up my old Revereware pot with some of this gelatin. I won't need all of it. There's so much of it here, and you should keep it for cooking. It is the best thing. You don't need to buy the broth. Look at this huge chunk. Anyway, I'm gonna melt some of it. I'm not gonna heat it. I don't need to cook it. I don't need to reduce it anymore. You would need to reduce it some if it's not really jiggly like this. You need to make sure that it's really firm, like a jello cup or something that you would get that's flavored like strawberry jello or whatever. You need to make sure it's really firm like that. If it's not, then you do just need to reduce it some more. Just let it boil a little bit to get some of the liquid out of it. But you want these, you want it jelly like this, because that's what is going to bind your meat together in the mold when we put when we make a head cheese loaf. There we go. Okay, so I've got it on medium, not even medium, medium low. We're just melting it. So anyway, you see me chopping this stuff up. It's really easy to chop because it's so soft. It cooked as long as all the meat did. So I'm just chopping it up into some smaller pieces so I can mix a little bit of it. I probably won't use all this. I'm just gonna mix a little bit of it for color and texture in the head cheese. Okay, so this looks like a good chop. Let me put it back in its bowl, and then I will chop the meat in pretty much the same, the same. Look at this texture. It's I could really easily mash this up if I needed to. It's just a really fine kind of texture. I could easily mash it up since it's veg and it's really soft. I'm not going to. I'm going to leave them kind of as little small, really small chunky pieces. Some people will make head cheese without any of this, only just the meat at all, which is fine, still head cheese. And some people will use the meat. Some people will slice the meat in great big chunks, but my husband doesn't like it that way, so I do it the way he likes it. Anyway, so you see as you're cutting these pieces, they've got pieces of skin. It looks like bacon, honestly, the fat that's on bacon and little pieces of skin that's on bacon. And anyway, so I'm just gonna chop it up really finely. So anyway, let me do all that, and I will come back after I've got the whole bowl already chopped the size that my husband likes it, and then we will assemble it together. So I am ready with my chopped up meat and my chopped up veg, and I'm just going to put a little bit. I've got my loaf pan. This is my mom's old loaf pan. I think it's older than I am, that pan. Anyway, it's weird to call, it's a glass, it's a Pyrex pan. It's weird to call it a pan when it's glass, but I don't know what word is better. And I'm just gonna take, so you see this, about this much. I don't know how much this is. This is about enough to fit in this loaf pan here. And I'm just eyeballing this, and then I'm gonna take a handful of the veg that I chopped up and mix it in here by hand and just kind of see what it looks like, because I can see the carrots, and so I want to just kind of see maybe a tad a little bit more. So again, those veggies are, gosh, what did I put in here? Carrots and garlic and onions for sure. Oh, there was some cilantro stems And I did put some turmeric in the broth. Anyway, you can watch that first video. It's linked in the description. And you'll be able to see what all I put in there. And so that's what the broth tastes like. The broth is melted on the stove behind me. And we're going to be using that for to congeal all of this. Okay, so I'm going to put this in my loaf pan right here, my mama's loaf pan. And then bring the broth over and dump some in. So it looks like I got the right amount. I'm going to kind of push it down a little bit. It's not going to top. I could have put a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. We're going to kind of push it down. We don't want very many bubbles in there, although if you do have any cavities, you know, open air bubbles in there, the broth should fill it in. It's going to be yummy. Okay, so here's the broth, and you can see it is now liquid, and I'm going to just pour it in here a little bit. It'll sink in. Liquid always sinks in the cracks. That's why you can eat a full meal and then have ice cream. It just sinks in the cracks. So anyway, here we go. A little bit more. And, oh, you can see, I guess you can't see. I can see like little air bubbles coming up through because the broth is soaking in. Yep, there we go. Y'all, this is ready to put in the refrigerator. So this was day 3 just because I make it in a 3-day thing, you know, 3-day kind of stretch. This took me maybe 30 minutes this morning to do all this from start to finish. It took me maybe 45 minutes yesterday to do that part. That video is linked in the description. It took me maybe 45 minutes the day before to do that part. That video is linked in the description. And you've got your own cold meat for like charcuterie or whatever you want. My husband is going to have it on his sandwich tomorrow at work. I'm going to send it with some great gluten-free bread and a nice slice of this with some mustard and some other things that he likes. And it is such a great way to have. This is like no preservatives, no nothing. You've made this and you can have the pride to know that your family is enjoying something that is wholesome and good and old-fashioned, and you can pass it on from generation to generation and maybe revive it even. Maybe revive the love for this kind of stuff to eat and cooking process and all that kind of stuff. And so I'll see you again in the next one.